Hi, I'm Mary Lynn Barrett. This is the Resilient by Design program for burnout, compassion fatigue, and secondary traumatic stress prevention and recovery. And our basic tenet here is that those are all related to dysregulation of the autonomic nervous system. When we're dysregulated in our nervous system, we are in one of two states. We are either too much energy in our system, our gas pedal is floored, and we can't settle down. Our thinking is fast, or it's negative, it's stuck, we're ruminating. We can also be anxious or angry when we're in that state. The other way that we can show up is in a shutdown state, or too little energy available to us, and it shows up as feeling numb or dissociated, fatigued, extremely exhausted, and overwhelmed. So, that being said, the other thing that happens when we're dysregulated is our thinking brain goes offline. And that's why you can't think your way out of these stressors. That's why you probably have had the experience of knowing better, of knowing you shouldn't feel that way or shouldn't be reacting in this way, and yet that doesn't make a difference in how you're feeling at all. And that is because the part of the brain that responds to rational thinking is no longer driving the bus. The part of the brain that's driving the bus is the survival brain, and it responds to sensation, or the language of sensation. And so we use sensory information from the environment to tell it it's safe. Pleasant or neutral sensory information from the environment tells the survival brain that we're safe. When it gets that message, it turns off the survival response, and then our thinking brain comes back online. Then we can tell ourselves what we know to be true about the situation, and we'll actually register. Okay? Or our thoughts are going to become more flexible and open. So if we do need to do some sort of problem solving, or we just need to, we notice that we feel different about the situation when we're not stuck in a rigid thought pattern about it, that's what can happen when we come back online. So you're not necessarily telling yourself something you know to be true or solving a problem, but you're just a lot more flexible in how you're thinking, and ultimately in how whatever is going on, the stressor, is landing in your nervous system. So, going back to this idea of communicating safety to our survival brain, what we want to do, a really simple exercise that you can use, is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not a rare or not an unknown coping skill. It's one that's actually pretty well known. But we add a special sauce when we're doing it in somatic way, and that is to notice how it's affecting our nervous system. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is where you notice 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you taste, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. It doesn't actually matter. But what you're doing is you're looking around and consciously registering 5 things you see. You'll always want to look behind you, because when you're not on Zoom, this is a blind spot, and this is actually biologically a weak spot for us. So we need to turn around and let our brain know that we're safe. There's no danger back there. And that's ultimately what registering 5 things you see in your environment is doing. It's saying to your brain, because I'm looking over here and there's no danger here, there's no danger here. And then I'll look over here, there's no danger here. All right? So on and so forth. 5 things that you see, communicating safety to the brain. 4 things you feel. So this is tactile, right? So you can notice the temperature of the room. You can notice the weight of your glasses, if you wear glasses, the feeling of the fabric on your skin, the clothes that you're wearing. You can also notice points of contact with the outside world. So that could be the chair you're sitting in, your feet on the floor. That's orienting to your brain. Often when we're dysregulated, we feel disoriented, and so this is really soothing to the brain to help it know where it is in space and time through the senses, and in this case, tactile. Then we go to 3 things that we can hear. So we're just listening for whatever sounds are in our environment. Could be your own voice, could be like I can hear birds outside my window, could be the heating or the air conditioning system, or traffic in the distance. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's something you're paying attention to, things that are neutral or pleasant, right? Then the next thing is 2 things that you can smell. And so it doesn't really matter. Again, it doesn't have to be something that's like a candle. If you have a candle by you, then that's great. You can smell your hands. You can smell your clothing. They might smell like fabric softener or the detergent that you use. If you have a drink, you can smell the drink. And lastly, taste. And so taste, same thing. If you have something to drink or you have something you can taste right by you, then fine. But if you don't, just notice the taste you have in your mouth. As long as it's not like of poison or something dangerous, then it's fine. It's communicating to your brain that you're safe. And then the special sauce here, because you're not done, is that you want to notice how your body's responding to this information. All right? And the 3 things that are easiest to notice when you're first getting used to this sort of new languaging is to notice your heart rate. Has it slowed down? Notice your breathing. It's usually it's gotten easier to breathe. You can breathe deeper. It's more expansive. And then lastly, noticing your muscles. Because when you've turned off your stress response, you're actually turning on your relaxation response. So your muscles are going to start to loosen up. So that's what we do. We notice that. And then after this, you can apply a cognitive behavioral tool if you've been taught those. We're going to teach some of those in other videos, and I'll show you how to apply that as well. But what you've done is you've gone from a narrow thinking pattern in a stress reaction to open and flexible. And now you can go back to whatever the stressor is, and you'll notice that you think differently about it, lands differently, and you may be able to problem solve or tell yourself something you know to be true and have it actually register. Thank you.